Every year seems to bring with it another 1 or 2 or 7 failed video game movies. For fans, the whole thing has become this kinda crazy loop. Video game is released, becomes popular, gets bought by Hollywood, and then flops harder than LeBron on offense. Prince of Persia, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Doom, these movies were not hits. And even though the Resident Evil film franchise refuses to die, none of those films have really come close to being a blockbuster. Taking a step back reveals a set of factors that seem to inform all of these disappointments. We offer those reasons to you today. These are 10 undeniable reasons why great games make terrible movies. Being popular doesn't mean you're easy. Adaptations are no easy tasks, and video games are no exception. Show business is exactly that, a business. So it should come as no surprise that the most popular video games are what end up being licensed for Hollywood films. The thing is though, units sold doesn't guarantee a positive filmmaking experience. What delights players on their home consoles might not translate well to a giant screen in a darkened multiplex. Nothing is impossible, of course, but when you start with difficult material, the climb becomes that much steeper. The budget. Nothing can kill a film faster than a budget that's simply too small. When it comes to video game movies, it's a vicious cycle. Studios don't want to invest cash in adaptations because of their frequent lack of success. The limited budget then dooms the production to a reduced scope and dodgy effects. The film opens, fans are put off by the corners that had to be cut, and the movie tanks. And then the next time a studio considers adapting a video game, they weigh the risks and give the filmmakers a tight budget, and round it goes. From a business standpoint, this method makes sense. You give the riskier investments like video game movies less money, so if they fail, it hurts less. When it comes to bringing a story to fruition, however, especially a story where fans expect incredible visuals, it can be like signing the death warrant at the moment of conception. Lost the way to the A-list. Video game films tend to not attract superstars on either side of the lens. There are exceptions, of course, but most video game adaptations rely not on the actors or directors who are known to open big movies, but people of lesser status. This has nothing to do with talent. Even superstars were once unknown. Video game movies are already wrestling with a long legacy of bad reviews and bad box office returns. They need every possible advantage. Unrecognized and unproven talent, unfortunately, doesn't help put butts in seats. Why watch when you can do it better at home? As any fan of movies and games can tell you, watching a movie is a very different experience than playing a video game. Both are great, but each offer totally unique thrills. What makes you love a game at home might not come across the same on the big screen. On the other hand, failing to bring the experience of the console directly to theaters can leave fans wondering why they bothered to pay ticket price for something that didn't even feel like the thing they loved in the first place. The cost of being entertained. Yes, a video game costs way more than a movie ticket. However, video games give the players hours, days, even weeks of entertainment. A player could buy a game today and still be playing and enjoying it 2 months from now. Add in the amount of downloadable content available now, and the price per thrill becomes pretty damn favorable. A movie, on the other hand, gives you about 2 hours of entertainment at any given moment. In order to squeeze as much entertainment out of one film as you get in a video game, you'd have to pay for a lot of movie tickets, and that gets very expensive. So the movie can't just be good to stack up to its video game counterpart. It has to be so good that the viewer won't hesitate to spend money on repeat viewings and jack up that box office. Hitting the quad. In Hollywood, there's a term, a 4-quadrant movie. That means the movie appeals to everyone. You, me, your annoying younger brother, the older couple next door, the sewing circle at the library, everybody's gotta wanna see this flick. Increasingly, that's the only kind of movie the film industry will go all out for, the 4-quadrant flick. Video games, on the other hand, don't need to worry about that. They can be niche and still do big budget business. They can be hyper violent or all about candy or super contemplative and still bring in cash and players. So while video games can just tell the stories they want and tell them in the way they want to tell them, movie studios have to go for the broadest appeal, which is often a recipe for bland and cliche. Why go real when you can go hyper real? In the world of video games, seeing impossible feats of agility, speed, or strength are to be expected. They're often what attract players to games in the first place. Film, on the other hand, is bound by the physics of the natural world. The majority of video game movies are live-action affairs, which only make those physical restrictions more apparent. Even with increasingly strong CGI, those incredible moments of action can look pretty fake on the big screen, robbing them of the visceral thrill they carried in video game form. That's the story, pal. Plotting for movies and plotting for video games are very different beasts. For video games, the emphasis must be on challenge and immersion. The gameplay factor carries and forgives repetition as the player moves through the game. That's because repetition helps the player increase their mastery of the game and test them at every turn. Movies, however, demand largely linear storytelling that create challenges to be overcome just once, not over and over. Take your favorite fighting game. Playing for hours and match after match gives the gamer a chance to find new combos, enjoy great finishing moves, and learn how to defeat their enemies. films. Even a half hour of a character honing their skills over and over again can be absolutely dull in a movie. The monotony comes across as an endless rehashing of the same conflicts, the same imagery, the same camera angles and moves. Building character. We put ourselves into video games because the playability allows us to virtually become the character we're controlling. If a character is not as detailed at the start of the game, that's okay, because a gamer's personal investment in their character makes them more likely to keep with the story, until it reveals that leads complexities. On the other hand, movies are passive experiences, so a character had better grab you right away. This doesn't mean that the characters have to be open books right away, only that they have to be open enough to catch the viewer's eye right at the beginning. Finding a way to bring a video game character into this more direct storytelling approach can often be a difficult exercise. You either give away too little and risk the audiences not being engaged, or you give away too much and risk alienating fans. What we want. Perhaps the best way to wrap all these together is, the video game fan and the movie fan want different experiences from their entertainment. This is the case even for those that are super fans of both mediums. Until adaptations quit trying to be a carbon copy of the source material and focus on delivering the unique thrills that only a movie can, these films will continue to please neither film nor video game fans. Can you think of any other reasons video game adaptations seem doomed to fail? Do you find fault with some of our arguments? Let us know in the comments section, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one.